computer. Okay, I got it working. So what do you all think about the reading assignment so far?
Are we all in here? Sorry.
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, we're recording already.
I kind of made a little itinerary form. So how does RGB language differ from areas outside the RGB? Probably compared to other states.
I put the way that we greet people. Like, you know how girls like kiss each other on the cheek? Because I know in the agenda it mentioned like gestures also. Because I know like in other areas that's not really common.
True. I can also see it that in American culture, that's also uncommon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or like how, sorry, you can go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Or like how, like also like that, like when we greet each other, we greet each other more like as like a family wise. So like the guys call each other like cuz or whatever, or like prima and stuff like that. But like we're not necessarily actually family, but we greet each other that way. I guess you can say.
Yeah. Those.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, I think the kissing on the cheek one's a good example because I had first 2 years of my college experience, I went to San Antonio, UTSA, and there was a big difference from how people would talk like here and there because it was so diverse over there. So it was just like a completely different like dynamic over there. Like y'all mentioned over here, it was more like of a family aspect, the way we greet each other over here and the kissing on the cheek, stuff like that. And then when you go over there, like, you know, everyone's just so formal, shaking hands and stuff. Where over here, it's like big hugs, stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with y'all on that.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while, me and my family, we do go out to different states, and I really never actually took account on that in the past. Once in a while, I did go to Florida, and I kind of noticed that, well, currently right now, one of my, I'm not so sure how it's called, cousin's husband, I think. Well, he came from Cuba, Camagüey, and he's currently in Florida. So I'm guessing their culture is quite different from ours in the Valley. How is the RGV language?
I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that there's mostly Hispanic people down here. So a lot of the language has a lot of like Spanish thrown into it. I've seen like videos of even people from other cultures like African American, like coming down here and saying no, like the, you know, all the slang that they use down here that's mainly Spanish and that not Spanish people use, even gestures and like the ones like what you guys were saying, like the kiss on the cheek, or how some people do the chin up thing to say hi or like say what's up. I think a lot of that is has to do with our Latin culture down here and the language we speak mostly.
Yeah, I also agree with the "ka" thing. That's like really trended down here as a known RGV thing. And yeah, it's like we have our own language. I can't really explain it. Like very Tex-Mex, very like, I don't know, like we go 1 minute speaking a full English sentence, but you can't help but throw in some Tex-Mex
Yeah.
words like in there. Like it just comes out naturally. So when you go to somewhere else and you're speaking the way that we speak, it's just like they'll look at us like what is that? Never heard that before. So yeah.
Like
Mhm.
other people get confused when they hear us speak that.
Yeah, even like people who speak proper Spanish from Mexico, they come over here and they're like, what? I have cousins from California who only know people who speak like the proper Spanish. And when they come down here, they're like, you guys like speak it so like differently. We use different words, different like guacho, like I te guacho, like, stuff like that that we've made up down here.
Mhm.
I think that's what RGB language is.
Yes. I also noticed that here in the RGV, we say trocas or
Mhm.
biles and parqueadero instead of estacionamiento.
Yeah.
And from some past classes I've taken, I've learned that that's language transference. So
Mhm.
basically, what we do is we gain the English version of the word and transfer it over to Spanish.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting how the language just develops and
Mhm.
evolves
Mhm.
from what it was.
I feel like here in the RGV, since we're so yeah, we're in the United States, but we're so close to the border, and yet our ancestors or like family members are from the like across the border, and we just like mixed up their whole language and just created something like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it dumb, but I would call it like something simple, but yet it's so wrong, like not only like spelling wise, but also like that's not like the words that they're supposed to be said. And it's really like for us it's not confusing, but for other people it's like, what are you saying? Like it's so weird, it's different.
Hmm. And it's quite normal that people think that way. Dr. Christofferson mentioned that in the not just in the Rio Grande Valley, but in other states, areas are between like Texas, Arkansas. They're between I'm guessing the state next to Texas. I'm not that well in history, but between let's say New Mexico or Mexico, in between that area, people create words wherever they're at. It's just part of communication.
It's like our surroundings, society plays a role on how, like, what we've been talking about all week of race, class, gender. I mean, of course, down here, it's like I said, mostly Latin based, but also like a lower, like income based people also. So that also
Mhm.
plays a role in how we communicate with each other as well. Like she said, in San Antonio, it's more formal, the way they speak to each other in other colleges, and down here, we're more family based. Like that's usually how not lower income people that live with big families, they live with their parents, they live with their brothers and sisters still, and we hold that family value. So it does play a role in how we communicate, like our class. Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. I also noticed that there's a couple expressions that we say that
Mhm.
probably from the RGV. For example, witty witty or puro witty witty.
Mhm.
Has anyone heard that before?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm guessing it just was brought up from the situation or how people saw it.
Mhm.
Uh, as a form of gestures, I think we click our fingers a lot.
Mhm.
Now I'm trying to think what we do. I'm like trying to think back to like the little things that we do that are so different. When I like look at like how we speak, I compare it to, well, not compare it, but like another example would be like watching the Jersey Shore and like seeing how they speak in Jersey and how
Mhm.
different it is to how they speak down here. And like maybe because I was watching it recently, but it's just like seeing the how different things are in each like little community and stuff. It's also like here how we say like no mames for a lot of things. Like a lot of, oh, I say it for
Mm.
so yeah, so I guess just like it's just like little things that we do. It's like when you mentioned, or I don't know who mentioned the going like this with the head and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I don't know, there's a lot of little things. I'm trying to think of like little things that I see every day, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them that we're just not picking up on right now because we're just so used to seeing them.
One that I mentioned because I still do it. Even when I was younger, I would do it. And I do it without even knowing, and I get made fun of a lot. Is like just kidding. You know, that I guess that's a valid thing because I've heard a few times like, why do you do that? It's like, I don't know. I don't even realize I do it. It's just already second nature. And when I joke around or I say something that I don't want anybody to take serious, that's definitely a valid thing.
It just comes out naturally.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I also noticed that when two girls or two guys do it, between their own little cliques or groups, it's like their own hidden messages or meaning between themselves and the other group.
Mhm.
Another expression that I've noticed that's here in the RGV is no pues wow.
Yeah.
It's a little sarcastic and comical.
Mhm. Well, I don't know. Like one of the questions they asked is like the examples that we come up with, that we're coming up with, if they
Mhm.
come from situations or if they come from words themselves. Like a lot of the Spanglish or Tex-Mex that we were mentioning, like of course those come from, we mentioned those come from words, but like the gestures, like the chin up gestures, I was thinking like that's a way a lot of like men with like machismo like mentality say hi or what's up, like the chin up. I think, and to me, I think that comes from like a lot of like gang stuff, like how gang was deeply rooted here back in the day, like, or like in the valley. Like it was, I keep saying like a lot and I shouldn't. It was a way to say hi or to like kind of come in peace without really knowing what was, I don't know, like without really trying to start something. I don't know. I think that that's where it came from, that chin up gesture.
I
Hmm.
agree with that because, well, I work at Home Depot, so like it's a lot of men, like older men, and that's like the only way that they say hi to each other with the chin up.
Hmm. Like it was a way to say hi. You weren't sure if they were your enemy or your friend, but that was like a
Mhm.
kind of for back in the day, like for older generations, I suppose. Anybody else?
I also noticed for different words that people say, dude, here in Mexico or the RGV, we say güey.
Oh yeah.
And I also noticed that people from California, have you ever seen Juan videos
No.
on YouTube? No. Well, in their Latin culture, they say fool a lot.
Mm.
And then another word I also hear here in the RGV, which was also probably from Chicago. That's part of the Pachuco dialect, Vato.
Mhm. Yeah.
And all those words are probably associated with the lower class.
Mhm.
But regardless, they kind of seems common nowadays to say them.
Mhm.
I think those are just like all the main things that we do. I'm sure there's more, but that's all I can think of right now. Like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up doing some later today and then pick up on it later. But for right now, like that's all I can think of like of the little things that we do.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we're gonna be aware and be like, that's a valid thing. We made that up.